Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and also if you like my content, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is written by Robert Kiyosaki and it was first published in 1997, and since the year 2000, it has been an international bestseller. I have said this multiple times in different videos and I will say it again that I have been meaning to read this since quite a long time, because every single time I would go on Amazon there would be Rich Dad Poor Dad in my recommended section, and so I just felt like it was about time that I read it, right? So I finally did, and after reading this I have become a massive fan and I am recommending this to everyone watching this video. Please go ahead, read it. The title is pretty interesting, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It just attracts your attention, and also the subtext that it says here, what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not. It's pretty eye-catching title. The real father of Robert Kiyosaki was a poor dad. He was a teacher and they always used to run out of money at the end of the month, or they always ran short of it. Whereas his prince father was a rich dad, and under his guidance Robert Kiyosaki learned everything related to finances. So that's where the title comes from. What I like the most about this book is the fact that it's really simple and it's pretty short as well. I come from a non-finance, non-business background, so I didn't have any knowledge whatsoever about finances, and I didn't know any jargons or anything like that. And that's what caught my attention, because it's written in a way that a beginner could understand it, and that's the beauty of this book. Because the author establishes in the very first chapter that he started on his financial journey when he was only 9 years old, and the person or the rich dad who taught him all the things about finances, he taught everything from the perspective of a 9-year-old. So everything was mellowed down and everything was simplified for a 9-year-old to understand. So the author says that he has tried to use that concept in this book to try to make it easier for the audience to understand. The book is divided into 9 different chapters, excluding the introduction and the conclusion. What I actually really like about the book is that after every chapter there is a summary, entire summary of the chapter in a quite detailed way. So if you are not really interested in reading, or if you are short on time, then you can just skip to the summary and check out what the author has talked about in that chapter. And also the summary is then followed by additional questions. So the author doesn't really want us to be passive readers. He wants us to do some thinking, and that's what he has done. He has added questions at the end, and it just makes you more of an interactive reader rather than a passive reader and just consuming information. Robert Kiyosaki has talked about the current education system and the fact that in our education system we are not really taught about anything related to finances. We are made into, or we are encouraged to become good employees rather than become good employers maybe. And I agree with it on this term and also on a lot of other terms as well. Like in a school, we are not really taught about how we are gonna live our lives. We are just really focused on the academics, and we are not really taught outside of the academics how we are going to actually live life outside of school. Like money is such an important thing, and handling money and how we are going about the entire money thing is so important, but we are never really taught, except for when you go to business or finance school, I guess. The author also talks about financial intelligence and how it's really, really important. One thing that I really liked was when he says that what people are unable to see from their eyes, you should be able to see from your mind. That's something that's important, you know, because a lot of people in finance world or in business world miss a lot of things. And if we have good financial intelligence, if we have honed our skills, then we will be able to understand and see what other people are not seeing or are unable to understand. I think that that requires a lot of practice and a lot of understanding and a lot of learning. But he also says that financial intelligence is something that's there in everyone. We just need to hone our skills. Moving on to the next thing, the author talks about assets and liabilities. Asset is something that brings us money without us actually working for it. Like without us actually doing the job, we are getting money. And liability is something that's taking away the money from us. And he also talks about the fact that how the world around us, people, society, obviously and like banks and governments, everyone has sort of made this mindset of what assets actually are, but in reality they are not really assets, they are liabilities. And one such example he gave was of the house, how a house is considered an asset, but in reality it's actually a liability. And why he thinks that is because of the fact that when we buy a house, we buy it on mortgage, or when we buy a car, we are getting a loan from the bank for the car. And then when we buy a house, there is also property tax, so we are working for the government, we are working for the bank in terms of mortgage. So he tells us that this is all a trap. You know, we are always in a rat trap. We are always running to do something. We are always like going in circles. Another thing that I really liked is something that Rich Dad said to Robert Kiyosaki, and it was know something about everything. So it's basically like have a knowledge, a little bit of knowledge about a lot of different things, instead of just putting your knives into the ground at a certain thing and just digging it deeper and deeper and deeper. He says that specialization is actually a kind of a trap, because the more specialized you get, the more you are confining yourself, the more you are shutting the doors of other things on yourself. And he also talks about the I can't afford it mentality. He said, don't say that, never say that. Instead, say, how can I afford it? Find ways for affording things instead of saying that I can't afford it, because once you say I can't afford it, the mind stops working. But once you say how can I afford it, the mind starts working and finding out ways to get you the thing that you want, obviously legal ways. All of these things that I had talked about are obviously just the tip of the iceberg. This book is literally filled with so much wisdom. It's filled with so many lessons, and there is so much to understand and to learn. I am glad that I chose this book, because it has gotten me into this incredibly new world of finances, and I believe in the fact that it's really important for everyone to be financially literate, to understand what and where they are putting their money in or at. And especially females, I feel like we are quite behind in terms of finances and financial education. I feel like this book would be a great start. Even if you are not interested, I wasn't interested at all in finances. This book just changed the game. I am so much interested in finances now, and I'm looking up more books to read on this topic. Even if you are not making actual like steps into the financial world, but it's still, at the end of the day, it is really important to know and have an education about such an important thing. That's money. Money is important. People can deny it all they want, but it's important. And that's pretty much it. I hope that I did justice to this book, because there is so much to talk about, but I could only talk about so many things. If you want me to review any other book, just leave that in the comments below. I love reading new books and I love talking about them. With that note, we have come to the end of this video. If you want to follow me on my socials, the links are in the description. I'm also on Goodreads. If you want to follow me there, the link is also in the description. I will also leave the handles of my social media on the screen right here. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure to do that, and also make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like my content. And I will see you guys really soon, inshallah. Till then, take care. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.